Hi, this is Curt Barone, and welcome to another edition of Fire Law Roundup.
He's got an impressive background.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one here. Another interesting case here. This one's a collective bargaining case, or a union president who alleges that he was terminated in retaliation for his union activities and for advocating on behalf of his IAFF local. So we have the union president in Mountain View Fire Protection District in Colorado, who was terminated earlier this year. And he was accused of disseminating confidential information about a particular employee's religious accommodation request. Apparently, they had hired a Jehovah's Witness who had requested that he not be required to have any American flags on his gear or his uniform, and not be required to raise and lower the American flag. And the department was apparently working toward that. And this, the union president, I guess, was a captain, and he became aware of the what he thought was an unusual request. He made some inquiries, and it's unclear whether he was being a busybody or whether he was legitimately acting on behalf of the union or in his other capacity as a quartermaster or an assistant quartermaster. But he starts asking questions, asking around, and eventually he gets with the district's HR specialist, who sort of reluctantly, I guess, fills him in as to why this person is not going to have the flags. And, I think at this point, it's pretty clear now he's doing it as a union rep. He's saying, well, the folks have got to get trained. And I mean, I can see myself doing that. I want to make sure my people are not going to get themselves in trouble. We need to make sure that everybody's educated, that this is a legitimate accommodation. They shouldn't be harassing them and that kind of thing. So they discuss that. And apparently there's some additional discussions that take place. And at any rate, he at one point has a blowout with the fire chief over something that's totally unrelated to this. And the next thing he knows, he's under investigation for disseminating confidential information related to the same person. And then he is terminated. So he is suing, let's see, what are the allegations are, a 14th Amendment due process. Right now, I'm assuming he can only be disciplined or terminated for cause or just cause. So that's going to be one big difference between him and the chief in the last case, where, he has a right to procedural due process. He's also alleging that his free speech rights, and his right to free association, which I'm assuming both First Amendment and the freedom of association is going to be connected with the union activities. And then the kind of a weird name for this, but they call it the Colorado Firefighter Safety Act, which essentially is a collective bargaining law for firefighters in Colorado, but it gives firefighters the right to engage in concerted activities for the mutual aid and protection. So what that does is that gives him basically a cause of action to say that the department is infringing on both him and the union's ability to protect each other and discuss things and so on. So we'll see how this one. What's your thoughts? You must have been in a union as a police officer.
Yes, and the flag issue came up then too, but not with this wrinkle to it. I think if I were in his position as the assistant quartermaster, I would ask the same questions. Mm-hmm. Why is this set of gear different from everybody else's set of gear? And as you said, is he being a busybody, or is he making a legitimate inquiry? Mm-hmm. And I see no harm in asking the question, especially when it seems from what we're given is that he's working collaboratively with the city and the HR people. And like you said, okay, well, if this is the case, then we need to teach people. And it's not just teaching the members of his company. Mm-hmm. You got to train the whole job.
Yeah. Well, and he's a union president as well. And he doesn't, I would, if I was him, I'd be saying, I don't want to see any of my firefighters get in trouble. And I don't want my new member to be harassed for no reason. Let's get out ahead of this.
Right. I didn't really see anything here where he's off the map with respect to the flag issue.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that he had a blow up with one of the chiefs, well, I think that's kind of routine when management speaks to the union people. I mean, things.
Well, it is up
get
here in the
heated.
Northeast, my friend. I'm not sure if it is in Colorado.
Well, I mean, so long as nobody's throwing haymakers, okay, so voices got raised. Big deal. It happens.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
It's interesting. And, it really speaks to the diversity that's, we're seeing now in the fire service and public service everywhere, really. It's not just the fire department. And, there's more to it than just saying, hey, let's do A. Well, okay, well, it's cause and effect. If we're going to do A, then what about B? Like, is there training involved? How do we prevent incidents? I remember cultural sensitivity training when that first came in to the police department, and you absolutely have to have that nowadays. If you're going to have a diverse community, if you want your workforce to represent the community, well, then education naturally has to be a part of that.
Yeah, and I think change the facts a little bit in this case, and we might have a different perspective on it. If he's not the union president, and he's just the quartermaster, once he's told that this is a religious accommodation, I think that's really the end of the quartermasters.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I think that's where his union, he puts his union hat on and says, okay, now, we have a fire chief and we have a union president, and ideally they should be working together for everyone's best interest. But he's got a job to do. And I don't know. I know how to come out where I come from, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it's going to come out here.
Well, like I said, it looks like his inquiry was for a righteous purpose, and that he wasn't trying to, denigrate anybody or do anything wrong. And like you always say, we only have one side of the complaint, so one side of the story.
Oh, that's for sure.